My name is Chloe Cole, and I am a detransitioner. Another way to put that would be, I used to believe that I was born in the wrong body, and the adults in my life whom I trusted affirmed my belief, and this caused me lifelong, irreversible harm. I speak to you today as a victim of one of the biggest medical scandals in the history of the United States of America. I speak to you in the hope that you will have the courage to bring the scandal to an end and ensure that other vulnerable teenagers, children, and young adults don't go through what I went through. At the age of 12, I began to experience what my medical team would later diagnose as gender dysphoria. I was well into an early puberty, and I was very uncomfortable with the changes that were happening to my body. I was intimidated by male attention, and when I told my parents that I felt like a boy, in retrospect, all I meant was that I hated puberty, that I wanted this newfound sexual attention to go away, that I looked up to my brothers a little bit more than I did to my sisters. I came out as transgender in a letter I sent on the dining room table. My parents were immediately concerned. They felt like they needed to get outside help from medical professionals, but this proved to be a mistake. It immediately set our entire family down a path of ideologically motivated deceit and coercion. The gender specialist I was taken to see told my parents that I needed to be put on puberty-blocking drugs right away. They asked my parents a simple question: would you rather have a dead daughter or a living transgender son? The choice was enough for my parents to let their guard down, and in retrospect, I can't blame them. This was the moment that we all became victims of so-called gender-affirming care. I was fast-tracked onto puberty blockers and then testosterone. The resulting menopausal-like hot flashes made focusing on school impossible. I still get joint pains and weird pops in my back, but they were far worse when I was on the blockers. A month later, when I was 13, I had my first testosterone injection. This caused permanent changes to my body. My voice will forever be deeper, my jawline sharper, my nose longer, my bone structure permanently masculinized, my Adam's apple more prominent, my fertility unknown. I look in the mirror sometimes and I feel like a monster. I had a double mastectomy at 15. They tested my amputated breast for cancer. And I was cancer-free, of course. I was perfectly healthy. There was nothing wrong with my still developing body or my breasts, other than that, as an insecure teenage girl, I felt awkward about it. After my breasts were taken away from me, the tissue was incinerated. Before I was able to legally drive, I had a huge part of my future womanhood taken from me. I will never be able to breastfeed. I struggle to look at myself in the mirror at times. I still struggle to this day with sexual dysfunction. And I have massive scars across my chest, and the skin grafts that they took of my nipples are weeping fluid today, and they were grafted into a more masculine positioning, they said. After surgery, my grades in school plummeted. Everything that I went through did nothing to address my underlying mental health issues that I had. And my doctors, with their theories on gender, thought that all my problems would go away as soon as I was surgically transformed into something that vaguely resembled a boy. Their theories were wrong. The drugs and surgeries changed my body, but they did not and could not change the basic reality that I am and forever will be a female. When my specialist first told my parents that they could have a dead daughter or a live transgender son, I wasn't suicidal. I was a happy child who struggled because she was different. However, at 16, after my surgery, I did become suicidal. I'm doing better now, but my parents almost got the dead daughter promised to them by my doctors. My doctors had almost created the very nightmare they said they were trying to avoid. So what message do I want to bring to American teenagers and their families? I didn't need to be lied to. I needed compassion. I needed to be loved. I needed to be given therapy to help me work through my issues, not affirm to my delusion that by transforming into a boy, it would solve all my problems. We need to stop telling 12-year-olds that they were born wrong, that they are right to reject their own bodies and feel uncomfortable with their own skin. We need to stop telling children that puberty is an option, that they can choose what kind of puberty they will go through, just so they can choose what clothes to wear or what music to listen to. Puberty is a rite of passage to adulthood, not a disease to be mitigated. Today, I should be at home with my family celebrating my 19th birthday, and instead I'm making a desperate plea to my elected representatives. learn the lessons from other medical scandals like the opioid crisis, to recognize that doctors are human too, and sometimes they are wrong. My childhood was ruined along with thousands of detransitioners that I know through our networks. This needs to stop. You alone can stop it. Enough children have already been victimized by this barbaric pseudoscience. Please let me be your final warning. Thank you.
Today's your birthday?
It is.
You're a beautiful, brave woman. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
A question for you, Ms. Cole, and first of all, thank you for being here. I've heard some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle use words like, this frightens me, this hearing. They're frightened by us having a hearing in which you are able to speak to the world about what you have gone through. And I've heard colleagues on the other side of the aisle say, life is worth it, in the context of pushing a particular worldview and saying life is worth it. I would just ask to say that I just want to make sure that you know, like from our standpoint, that your life is worth it, and that the people that have gone through this, that your lives are worth it. And I'd wondered if you'd like to comment on the worth of your life and the social pressures and the pressure placed on you to pursue a path that you now believe was not the correct path.
I think we're all on the same page here, that everybody's life and right to happiness is worthy. And that's what we're all fighting for, even if we don't necessarily agree on what that means. And if I may ask, would I be able to address another witness?
Through the chair, you may. So you may speak to me and reference any other testimony you wish to.
Okay. Well, Mrs. Reynolds.
And you can direct it to me and say that what Ms. Reynolds talked about you want to respond to, and you go ahead.
Well, I understood that Mrs. Reynolds is scared for her child. And I just want to set the record straight that I don't hate her. I don't think anybody in this room hates her. In fact, I see my own mother and my own father in her, and that she dearly loves her child. And she's doing the best with what she's been given. And unfortunately, it's not much. And for that, I'm sorry. I mean, I think every parent deserves the utmost grace and guidance with how to help their child. That being said, I don't wish for her child to have the same result as I did. I don't wish for anybody to regret transition or to detransition because it's incredibly difficult. It comes with its own difficulties, and it's not easy. And I hope that her child gets to have a happy and fulfilling adulthood, however that may look like.
Well, thank you for that, Ms. Cole. I think it was heartfelt, and I know that a number of us share your view. One last question as my time is winding down. Do you believe that the American healthcare system failed you?
On every single level.
Thank
my
you.
Doctors and systemically.
Thank you for being here. All right.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for those who've been able to subscribe, the returning viewers, thank you so much. You've been able to actually watch the video of the young girl who's been able to express herself by saying that she didn't know at that time when all those gender transformation was being done to her as a young girl. She was just a teenager. She was not able to actually be very sure of the effects, or the doctors were not able to actually give her the consent and know the side effects. So she's able to share her story. You've been able to listen to it. She's actually suing the doctors and those who've been able to be part of this. You can see that she has undergone surgery during that time. She was going through some psychological challenges, and because of this, the doctors were actually just able to advise the parents to go ahead and allow them to proceed with the surgery and transformation. And with this gender transformation, Chloe was able to actually be transformed to, let's say, a guy. So this has actually affected her several ways. She's not able to have kids, she won't be able to breastfeed, and among others, apart from also and mental health issues that was also pre-existing at that time. So instead of finding a better solution, the doctors were just able to make it worse psychologically. Yes, she said that she was going through a lot of psychological issues at that time and still is, but she was still not able to make such a decision in her life. She wasn't an adult. And I believe that in such cases, such permanent issues, you should be able to make decisions, especially if you are an adult. At that time, she was just a teenager trying to discover herself. Even though she was going through all those challenges, she couldn't understand what puberty was at that time. But I'm not sure why the doctors suggested all that just because of a pre existing mental health condition. Um, you can now see that she's actually suing all of them because she has been able to see the side effects that it has caused her. She will continue to think about this each and every single day because it's something that will stick permanently to her because she won't be able to have kids now. She won't be able to feel exactly how to breastfeed or how what a woman actually feels breastfeeding or just having babies. And that's a decision that you can't make for someone. It's something that will stick up here. So Chloe is actually going through a lot, and you can evidently see and hear what she's trying to say, and it's something that I feel deep down, and I really don't know why the parents or the doctors were able to actually go through with this, considering she's just a baby. She's still she's not even an adult. She can't make decisions like that. So I'd like to hear your opinion on this topic. Should uh, they be allowed? Should children be allowed to make decisions to change their gender before they are 18 years old? Even you as a parent, I understand the child is going through a lot of psychological issues, but I don't believe that that's a way to go ahead and do. I don't believe that that's a solution. There are other ways you and the psychiatrist or your daughter can find a solution, or even your son. You don't have to change the gender to be able to make them have great mental health status. So, I would like to really hear your opinion on this. Thank you so much. I'm hoping that you'll be able to come back for more trending topics. I hope you enjoy this. Bye bye.